Hey everyone, Cody here, and I just want to thank God. I'm just super, super grateful again. I just give God all the praise and honor and glory. So just to give you an update, so I just got an email like a few minutes ago from my second youngest daughter's teacher about how well she's doing coming back off of Christmas break. Now you would think that this is not a big deal if you don't really know our family, but it is a huge deal because now it's only Wednesday, so it's only a few days back into the new school year. But to receive a good email from her teacher, I am just beyond like ecstatic because the email said that she's been doing well since she came back. And even now, as she was writing the email, my daughter was actually listening and she was focused on what she was supposed to be doing. And that is awesome because generally the emails we get about her are not so great. Now, let me give you a little context. My second youngest daughter, she's adopted. We adopted her, and she has had a lot of challenges in all of the years that we've had her. And I know that the audio is trash. I apologize. But anyway, she's had a lot of challenges, clinically diagnosed with ADHD and ODD, which I had never heard of before they gave her that diagnosis. But then after hearing what it is, it makes a lot of sense. So it means it's like it's not obstinate defiant disorder, but it's something like that, where they basically, children that have ODD, they go out of their way to be disobedient. And so she has that. And, you try to correct her and she just argues. You try to even just talk to her and she just doesn't stop arguing. Like she wants to argue just to argue. Doesn't matter if she's right or wrong. She just wants to argue. She always has to have the last word, and she'll go out of her way to do things that, basically will just get negative attention. And of course, she is never at fault for anything. If you ever challenge her on anything, it wasn't her. Even my other kids, I've never had this many challenges. I have 7 kids total, and I helped raise my sisters, and I have actually babysat multiple other kids for years over my life. And I have never had a child so challenging as this one. Now, I love her to death, but the fact is, she has been a very huge challenge. And even going into this school year, lots of challenges, multiple calls from the principal, multiple emails from the school, like from different teachers. She was missing multiple grades, like she had multiple F's, D's and F's. She would not listen, and she does have a medication, but it seems like it only helps a little bit because we don't want to like overdo it, so she's on like a very small dose. But even still, like, just challenges. And she would go out to other people's houses and just not listen. She would go out of her way not to listen, but also when you tried to challenge her on it, she wasn't in the wrong. Even if you saw her and she was the one that did it, she still would not admit it. Still to this day does not do that. However, again, I am trying to see the positive in all of it. There have been times where I was at my lowest, and I even kind of question whether or not we should have taken in, the kids that we adopted. I'll be honest. However, it's moments like this where it's like putting in all this work of trying to correct the behavior because you care about them, doing what it takes to try to show them like, hey, this is not a good way to live. Like the way that you think is okay is not, and here's why. And just correcting that over time. A lot of prayer, a lot of spending time with her, a lot of, therapy, either her talking to people or being on the low dose medication, just all of it, just trying to, steer her in the right direction. And to get an email like that today just made me super, super grateful because it has been a long time. We've had our girls for over 8 years adopted, but they've been in our house longer because they were in our house before we even got them adopted. So it has just been a process, and I'm just very grateful to see some kind of result, even if it's a small thing, even if it's small steps in the right direction. It's a huge deal for me, and I'm just, super grateful. Now, the reason that I'm even sharing this is, one, obviously, I give God all the glory and honor and praise because I will take anything if it helps her, if it not just us, like as the parents, it can be frustrating, but really helps her on, the right path, right? Helping her to understand and regulate, her own emotions and stuff. But the reason I'm even bringing this up is because it occurred to me that now that she is doing well in class and I got that email, I need to remind her of the good that she's doing. You know, a lot of times it's very easy for us to criticize our kids or anyone else really for that matter for the negative things that we do or they do. We see a lot of the negative in the world and the negative things that people do, and a lot of times often the good things that people do go unrecognized. And especially if we are parents and our kids do the right thing or they do a good thing, you know, we have to capitalize on those moments and acknowledge when they do something right, even if it is minuscule and all of the stuff that they do all the other times, right? 99% of the other time is the wrong thing. When they do the right thing, we have to acknowledge it, right? Because if we don't, then they're going to basically give up after a while. So let's say that they do start trying and it goes unacknowledged. Well, what's going to give them the motivation to keep trying if we don't acknowledge that they are trying? So I'm not saying that they have to reach perfection overnight, but if they start even moving in the right direction, we have to acknowledge that to give them that little boost of, you know, confidence and the motivation to drive into, you know, the right direction, so to speak. So, you know, it occurred to me that I need to talk to her and just acknowledge that, hey, you know, I got a good email from your teacher. I'm really proud of you. You know, I think the kids thrive on hearing I'm proud of you. I never heard that as a kid. My parents were always disappointed in me, and I was always trying to reach these invisible, unrealistic expectations, and I could never do it. And then the caveat or the result of that is that when I became a parent, I started doing it to my own kids. I don't want to be that guy. I want to acknowledge my kids if they are doing the right thing or if they're trying. I want to acknowledge that to give them that desire to want to keep trying. So ultimately, that's it. I just very, very grateful. Great report. And I also just wanted to share that because it came to mind. But that's about it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. God bless.